Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the almost final session of Eminent 2023. I'm Sabrina. I work for European Schoolnet, and I can assure you already that we save the best for last. As in this session, we are able to hear from a stakeholder group that we actually haven't really had the chance to hear firsthand from, but we surely discussed a lot about in the previous days. A very important group when it comes to discussing about digital skills in schools and in the classroom. A group that is not only growing up with technology, is learning about digital citizenship, but is living digital citizenship. However, unfortunately, when it comes to decision making, children and young people are still too often excluded from the conversation. Though they are asked to implement the tools we are creating, the frameworks we are developing, while of course making sure to think critically at all times. Well, that's much more easier said than done, and that's I'm very glad and excited that it has become a little tradition at the Eminent already to give the floor to young people and create a platform of exchange, not only about them, but with them. So let's listen to our young experts, and I'm very delighted to be joined by two Italian students that are very active at the national but also European level to make sure the voices of young people are not only heard, but also taken into account when decisions are made and resources are created. I welcome Sanya. Sanya is 16 years old and she's in the 11th grade of a classical high school here in Italy. One of her many passions, in addition to music and art, is also activism, and that's why she's a member of the Italian Youth Panel, coordinated by the Italian Safer Internet Center, Generazioni Connesse. And together with Gabriele, we will hear more about what they're doing in Italy, but also at European level. Gabriele is 15 years old. He is studying at a scientific high school in the south of Italy. And one of his passions, which is also very important when it comes to digital skills, is videography and cinema. So before handing over to both of them to tell us more how they got acquainted with the work in Italy, but also at European level, but with the Better Internet for Kids youth panel, I would like to continue the tradition that we had yesterday with a little warm-up exercise, even though we are at the end of the conference and we should all be warmed up now. Please do join me by giving a round of applause to Sanya and Gabriele already for being with us. So over to you now, and just to set the scene, explain a little bit to us, what are you doing in the engagement with Generazioni Connesse and also with the Better Internet for Kids Youth panel at European level?
Perfect. So first of all, good morning, everybody. We are so glad to be here in front of you. It's a great opportunity of debate and conversation, and we cannot just thanks everybody because it's an amazing experience being there. And thank you for paying attention to our session. So first of all, as Sabrina introduced us, we are Sania and Gabriele, and we're from Italy. So we're part of the Safer Internet Center in Italy, at least almost 1 year now. And it has been 1 year full of experiences, but also learning, which is the best thing of HAVA. So now I'm going to introduce you what we have done during this year thanks to the Safer Internet Center in Italy, and at last Gabriele will explain a bit what we did during the session of the Safer Internet Forum in Brussels, actually at least I think 2 weeks ago.
It was 2 weeks ago, yeah.
Wow, so it's not so much long. So first of all, the things I would like to say is that how we just be involved in the project. And I'm so thankful for this project because it really gave us the opportunity to be active, to be participants of what is part of us, which is the safer internet. And it's very rare find out projects in Italy and in Europe that really gives you the possibility to be at the center of the project. So Safer Internet Center in Italy of Generazioni Connesse is one of them. We are at the center of each activity we do. We are at the center of each activity we do and each experience. Each activity, each event is involved by young people and for young people. And that's the best thing of Hava. So basically, how we just entered in this project. We entered thanks one of the partner of the project, which is a festival, and it's Gifone Film Festival that me and Gabriele attended for so many years now. And we decided to do this application after we saw this contest that was there, and yeah, we go over that. So after that application, we had the opportunity to experience a different learning. And I really found out, and I think it's common with Gabriele, I really found out what internet is. I really found out what does it mean, open my phone, turn it on, and be online. And I really became conscious of that, which is the best thing of Harvard that the world can give to a student and to the future citizen. So basically, we had the opportunity to be the main character of the Safer Internet Day during February. And we had the opportunity to have different sessions there that create our skills, improve our skills, thanks the experts. And that's for why I would like to thank one of them that he's here, that is Barbara. And well, actually, we had the opportunity, and that's the best thing of Haver, of this project in Italy. We had the opportunity not only to participate and not only to be at the center of the project, we have the opportunity to learn. Learn being active. And that's one of the revolution of the next education in Europe. So we had the opportunity to be in Rome, we had the opportunity to be in Procida, where we had the opportunity to create a video for the e-policy. And then we had the opportunity to be in Gifoni to the preparation of the meeting we had in Rome in September with the partner of and the Italian delegation of Google, Meta, and TikTok, and it was the first time that Italian students were approaching and were face-to-face with an Italian delegation as internet industry. So lots of things in our ear. So I just give you the chair.
Yeah, so of course being part of the Safer Internet Center was a big opportunity for us to confront with people of our age about topics that we like and have a really intense dialogue and ideas. And we got selected also to be part of the European big youth panel. So that's why we have been in Brussels for the Safer Internet Forum. And it was an amazing opportunity for us because we really, of course, we met people, amazing people from all over Europe. And we discussed, we did an intense brainstorming. It was really tiring. It was tiring, but it was fun.
Big deep dives, discussions, and full of learning. So it was, I think, the best thing of Haver we could do with other people all over Europe. And the best thing of Haver is that the big youth panel. First of all, we had, the possibility in Italy to understand that what we were thinking for years to be active in our world and in the safer internet path can be real. And at the end, in Europe, we had the opportunity to say, wow, what we are doing, it's common to other countries, so we can realize something.
And we choose a slogan, which is empower, inspire, and
transform.
Empower, inspire, and transform. And for each of this word, we made a performance. We acted.
Yes, true.
And we really wanted to know how the audience felt about what they were experiencing. So that's why we gave them some emojis. So while the scene was being acted by the actors, audience could effectively show their feelings, their emotions, and sentiments. And it was amazing seeing all of the emojis around the audience.
I think what we can do, just to give you guys a better understanding of what has happened in Brussels, we brought you a video that shows not only Sandy and Gabriele in action, but 41 youngsters from 23 European countries that took the floor at the Safer Internet Forum and were really in the driving seat of the conversation of the day and of the organization. So let's see if we can see the video. we go.
So many people from different countries come together to do something, and we hear about it all the time that we can make a difference or make something big together. And I think this was the biggest motivation I had.
I believe that the view of children and young people in general is very different from what adults have, and I think they should be heard, since they are usually the people who are less heard than in society, right? So that's what motivated me to join the group.
What I enjoy the most about the preparation is the way you can relate with people, the way you can learn with others, even when we're trying to teach something and we still learn with it. So it's a really good share of information, of experiences.
We're doing stuff about like statistical representation, so we are crunching some numbers. It's super important work, and we get to be creative and just work together, which is really nice.
Okay, so I hope next year, if you haven't heard about the Safer Internet Forum, please come and join us, because I think it's a very nice best practice example by now how to do meaningful youth participation and to see all the great things that can happen when we invest in the skills and in the time of young people. But turning back to Sanja and Gabriela, you had the chance to discuss and interact with young people, with peers from all over Europe during this time at the Safer Internet Forum. And I'm sure you also certainly discussed about some challenges that you, but also your peers face when it comes to teaching digital skills in the classroom, and what you and the others, and I think that's very important for our audience to better understand, is missing or needs to be improved in the schools of today.
Thank you for your question. Very easy one. Well, surely we can say that this experience at the European level gives you the possibility to share all the contribution from the European path. So all the schools in Europe, we had the opportunity to really talk about serious topics with our young people as us. So it was an amazing experience, as we said before. But of course, we talked about challenges, and what we understood after actually testimonials we did after that we decided to do as evidence to take today here, that you can see that, is that there are many challenges that are common in Europe. The first is surely the fact that in schools we don't really talk about digital education. Nobody treats digital education as something we really need, as something that is necessary. We actually treat it as something that if there is time for teachers, it isn't in program. But if there is time, that's the best thing of ever. You can enjoy it. But if there is not time, there isn't enough time because we have to finish our subjects, our program. So just try to find something on the internet. But we can't accept this. We can't really accept this because we are talking about a digital industry, a digital world that we don't know how it will end. One of the most important difference we have to say regarding the offline world and the online world is that thanks to the offline world, we have different experiences about how it ends. But we don't know how it will end this world because we are creating it. We are growing with it. So what we can't absolutely accept to just reduce our knowledge to a simple way and simple experience as user, as consumer of a big industry as the internet one. We need to learn. We need to understand things. And we can only do it thanks to school, because what's the best thing of ever of learn things in a world that is the school? The only one where we learn, when we become future citizens, future people. So it's the only path we need. And one of the most important challenges we covered here, thanks also the other testimonials, is that we don't talk about digital education in schools. We don't talk it as a subject. We don't talk it as something that we need.
So yeah, I think one of the best parts of the testimonials is that really, and of course confronting with people from all over Europe, is seeing that basically everywhere in Europe there are the same problems. Of course, there are some differences, but it was, I think, really interesting to confront with our peers about these topics. And as you can see behind, we asked the question, do you talk and learn about digital education in school? And the answer were really interesting and different.
True, because for example, in Spain, we understood that there is a subject for digital education. And the only thing that we can say about Italy, digital education isn't even in the curriculum. How is it possible?
And
how can you leave?
That's like the main problem. I think we need to have it in the curriculum, to have tests, because I think it's because we are used to the internet, so we tend to consider it as a superficial thing, but it isn't. We need students and young people, but also old people and teachers to be and middle ages.
Yes,
to be aware when they are online, to be conscious of what are the dangers. So we have to not consider as in a superficial way. We are really to raise awareness about the topics.
So the main challenges we are facing too is, first of all, the approach we don't have in schools, and the fact that we don't have even it in the curriculum. And this is not possible in a society where we live. But not only in the students' curriculum, also in the teacher one, as Gabriele was starting to introduce. I mean, we can't accept that the school nowadays doesn't have teachers that can explain and can face with some troubles as is the digital education. We can't accept that they don't have the right skills, because otherwise how can we talk about digital education in schools if the main stakeholders as teachers, where we find all the education, don't know it, don't use it? So the first thing is surely the fact that we don't have properly the skills. But at the same time, we don't have digital skills in curriculum, so we don't think that this is important enough in our curriculum. And so it looks like a soft skills, something that if you have, it's okay. But if you don't have, we don't mind. And we can't, because we're talking about, and I will repeat it again, about a digital world, a world that is evolving with us, and we can't accept to have our knowledge just to be consumer, to be an experience of consumers and user. We must be the main characters of what actually is part of us, that what we created.
Thank you. So, colleagues, you see there's a clear call for action here on the stage. We hope you will be able to respond to this, and this is why we would like to now engage in a conversation with you. So I invite you to please let us know if you have any questions or comments for Sanja and Gabriele, but also equally, I think both of you have more questions for the audience. But maybe to turn to you first. Are there any comments or questions in the room? Please don't shy away.
Well, one of our main points is definitely the interaction. As we were saying, we can't accept a passive approach. So really, we don't buy it.
We can break the ice surely up here. So maybe you also thought about some questions
Yes,
for the
absolutely.
audience. So
Yeah.
we turn the table and we get some more tough questions to you now. Who would like to go first?
I would like to ask, now we are talking about teachers, right? So it's a very simple question. How do you think that teacher can improve their digital skills? Since we are talking about a mid-age, and we are talking about something that must be into curriculum, maybe it's one of the purpose we need to increase this knowledge also to students and future citizens.
Any icebreakers from your side? I know you're tired, but...
And about training, we were discussing about the industry of high-tech and how can the industry of high-tech basically connect with the world of education. So do you think high-tech companies can maybe help in educating the teachers?
Calling to our colleagues who work in EdTech. No, there are many more. I see a hand over there. Thank you. Microphone is
An
coming.
applause, please, because she was courage.
So, yeah, by the way, I'm Italian as well, so maybe I also understand what you are telling to the audience. Yeah, actually, we are doing that. And we started during the pandemic. We built up an academy online for the teachers. But as far as I see, it's not enough. So I think this is something that needs to come from the curriculum directly. Also preparing the young teacher when they will come to the school, be ready for teaching also digital skill, not just waiting for the current one to change and to be trained. So I think your question is really a tough question, I have to say. We are all discussing about that for 1 day and a half. So, but it's good that you're also looking for it and asking for it, because I think it's something that is extremely important. But if I look at from an high-tech computing company, not just my company, but also my competitors, I have to tell we are doing at least our best, or we think is our best, to support the institution like European Schoolnet, and also the government. We have a lot of expertise in field supporting the school. I realize that is not enough, but still we try to do our best. So that's what we can do.
Thank
Okay?
you.
Thank you
so
so
far.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? And if not, maybe, yeah? I see one hand in the back.
Thanks so much, and it's very inspiring to listen to you. And I would like to say that from the teacher side, what we try to do at European Schoolnet is to open them up to the idea that they cannot perhaps know everything about technology or digital, but they can at least open that space for dialogue and conversation in the classroom. And in some countries you have some experiences where some students are empowered to become some themselves trainers within the class on certain topics. So I hope that is also adopted in other areas. I think it's very, very powerful. I have also a question about what you discussed in Brussels and in Italy before, because you mentioned that you want more education about digital, that you want to see learn and understand better the digital economy, industry and context. What drives you most? Is that a bit a concern or fear about the risks? Have you discussed mostly about that, or it's more you feel excited about the digital world and you want to take advantage more of the opportunities it offers? Where have you tackled both, and which one is really most prominent in your conversations? Thank you.
Well, I think the answer is kind of in the middle, because of course the internet is our world, is our life. So yeah, I think it's both sides of the medal, because we are excited about the internet and the opportunities, but we also have to be aware about the danger of the internet. What do you think, Sania?
Thank you. First of all, thanks for your question. As Sabrina was saying, introducing myself, I'm really into activism, and thanks Safer Internet Center, I had the opportunity to improve myself, not only about the excitement on this side, but also about the learning and how to behave online. So first of all, I always be near to this topic and to soft skills. It's something that I always wanted to improve as knowledge of myself. And actually, what after I came back from Brussels, I really understood as after 1 year, you know, I don't know if it happens to you too, but after all the experience you do during the year, I always try to do a feedback. What it does really matter what I do, what I have done, most of all. And basically, what I really find out at the end of this result of feedback is that I really improve myself, and I really understand how much I like this path. How much as I like that, after Brussels, I was unsure about my university course I would like to take from 3 years, because I always wanted to be I was wanted to take a course of medicine, and then after I came from Brussels, wow, but I really enjoy this path. I mean, it's part of me. It's always been part of me, because over being about myself and my personality, I'm a native, a digital native. I'm a part of this generation, and I need to understand. I need to be part of that. I mean, I hate to be just a passive actress of the internet, because, I mean, we spent so much time online. We spent probably more time online than offline, and it's one of the problems we are facing for the generation. So how can I just not understand what I'm doing online? How can I'm not living. That's why I'm into this path. That's why I decided to improve myself, and that's why I decided to continue this path with the Safer Internet Center. So basically, this is the answer.
And I think you mentioned also a very important task or skill that I think many of us in the room always say we have to improve and we have to do more, is the impact assessment, to, you know, whatever we do, to see what was actually the impact. And I think that's also very often missing when we do youth participation, that we invite the young people to come to an event, but then what's the follow-up afterwards? And I think this is really important. Before we come to the close of the session, but I do hope that the conversation between all of us will continue. Maybe just from each of you, one final point you want to mention to the audience to take away on their travels back home.
Yes, basically, I really wanted to say something linked to the SEND inclusion that digital education can give to us. How much do we know that is important, having digital education in school? That's probably one of the purpose I would like to do to all of you that work in this path, that work in this industry. It's important to make understand to youth, but also to teachers that live in this path, the aim of having a digitalization in school. That aim is the inclusion and the accessibility to the new world. If we continue in this path, well, I don't think we will have citizens in 10 years. We will have just lots of people without the knowledge and the consciousness of where they're living. And we can accept this for the rest of our life. We don't know how it will end. We say it long time during this session. And we are growing up with a digitalization of ourselves lots of times. So what I really recommend you, and I hope you can do it since you work in this industry, please mark a lot how much the inclusion can be markable during the digitalization of schools. Because, you know, not only for this spatial and for people with disabilities, but definitely for the accessibility of the internet. We need an aim. We need to know what's really we want. And what we want is the inclusion of everybody in a world that is, of course, linked to AI and, of course, high tech. So that's it.
So yeah, to sum up, I would say when I think of a classroom in 2030 or 35 or 40, I think more of a laboratory, not a class with front lesson. I think, in particularly in teaching digital citizenship, class should be just a laboratory where students and teachers discuss with each other. And so yeah, we're talking about a blended approach. And what else? I think, yeah, as Sania said, the main point before teaching digital skills is teaching why we should learn digital skills. And I think that's the most important thing. And when we are at that point, we can start really teaching digital skills.
And according actually to what Gabriele was saying before this session, I don't know if you just mark it or just maybe paid attention to that. I found it really curious, the approach of the School 4.0 that I've known thanks being president in the student council I am in my region. And that's definitely what I see as future school. That's what I mean for transforming education in Europe. Having labs, as Gabriele was saying, having an inclusion by all the sides and accessibility, and also a consciousness about all the time of use, all the time that we spend online, all the time we need to understand and to create our privacy online. Because I don't think that nowadays none of us is able to understand who is online. We are losing our identity. We are losing who we are, and that's my now that I have the opportunity, that's the aim I would like to give you today, to inspire you to walk with us. And I'm sure we will do a great future from digitalization and European school nets.
Well, nothing more to add. Just colleagues, please join me once again. A big applause for Sania and Gabriele. To end the session, I would just like to bring your attention once again to this image on the screen that was also shown yesterday by Mark as part of the opening speech. Empower, inspire, transform. I think a very concrete call for action that I hope we will all take home with us after these 2 days at Eminem. One of the things we will remember from the conference, and also that we will remember to implement in our daily work tomorrow, the day after the Christmas break when we're back at our desk. And yeah, let's continue putting education, but also the best interests of young people at the heart of our action. So thank you so much for listening to us.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And you can stay here if you want, but are we done with the session? You want to have more questions, more interaction? We have 5 minutes. I mean, I think we can use this time.
If you have questions.
If you don't have questions, I will pose questions, no problem. I give you 1 minute, 30 seconds. Don't be shy. You see, this is what happens. And, you know, old people are kind of, shy. They don't know what to say to young people. That is something we need to fix. True.
I'll ask a question.
Yeah.
He knows what to say.
I'm from one of these loathsome big tech companies called Google. And I have a question for you. I think the educator community is quite fearful, perhaps, of artificial intelligence. How do you feel about it? Are you worried about how AI is going to impact your education and your lives? Do you think the teachers are right to be worried?
Yes.
Elaborate. Please elaborate. Yes, it's not a binary question.
Yeah. I think I'm known to speak a lot, so thank you. Well, that's a great question. That's one of the points I would like to cover during our discussion. AI, it's definitely one of the main points we should cover. This because, yes, I'm really afraid of that, because my teachers even don't know what is it. And it happens lots of times that my classmates even don't know how to use it. And we have to imagine that how this can be an advantage, it can be a big disadvantage. And when I was talking about losing identity, I was also talking about AI. Because if you are not able to use these instruments in the correct way, you lose yourself and you became a robot that you're not able to use, and that you became the product of what you would like to use to be a consumer. So basically, yes, I'm afraid of that because there isn't enough knowledge. And what I would like to say in schools is definitely this link to the high tech into the school. That's what Gabriele was trying to say. Because really, there are lots of students that are starting to do homework with ChatGPT. But they even don't know what ChatGPT is.
Yeah.
So how can they be conscious of what they are writing on their paper that a chat wrote for them? That's the main problem. That's why I'm afraid of that.
Yeah, I think it's very dangerous because I know people that don't write anymore. They just use ChatGPT. And where is creativity? So I think, like everything in life, there has to be a balance. And we have to know what we are using. Our tool, we have to know it. Because otherwise, it just, we lose all the creativity. We become robots. So, yeah.
Definitely. And also, one of the aim of the blended approach. What does it mean, blended approach, if not given practice to what we do in theory? That's the right aim we should cover also for AI as all the tech, and given to students the possibility and to teachers to learn how to use this instrument that can make us losing that creativity that Gabriele was talking about, but they can also add creativity to us. But you have to balance it. You have to know how to use it. We were actually planning to create a short movie with AI.
Yeah.
So basically, we don't think it's a dangerous path, but you have to know how to use it. When we decided to create this short film, we said, how much of us is in this? And then we arrived to the balance that we will create all the script and AI will create the images. That's because we want to create something with AI because it's part of us. We create it. We are humans that create AI. So we must not be the product of AI, but the consumer. And we can only do it if teachers that are in school for the digitalization of the schools know how to use it and know how to learn us in practicing it.
Yeah, and I see a lot of opportunity, also creative opportunity, because we had the opportunity to create images from our imagination and make it real. And I also see a lot of opportunity for students with special needs and disabilities, because AI can really help people in learning better.
True.
Do anyone has another question?
Thank you very much. Very nice to hear these perspectives. I think, like a lot of people in this audience, I go to a lot of these types of events where we're talking about the future of education and technology. And I can tell you that what you always hear is concern about the future, of course, of education, but the future of assessment. And we have seen that these new AI models can basically ace every single standardized test in existence, including very sophisticated exams to train professionals, whether those are doctors, lawyers, other things. We've also seen that sort of what was once considered the sort of unhackable assessment, which was writing, as you're saying, as now students all over the world are putting prompts into ChatGPT and spitting out essays and maybe manipulating them a little bit. So there's all this concern about the future of sort of assessment and how we assess and validate learning. But just wanted to get your views on, what do you think the future of assessment is and should be?
That's a hard question.
A really hard question.
No, that's perfect. That's amazing as a question. I mean, it's true. So assessment, right? It's more on a high tech, right? Well, as I was saying, it's always something of balance, but I don't want to just repeat what I said before. And basically, I think it might help, but we don't have now the consciousness to use it. And so, as for example, when I don't know if you remember when the first atomic weapons started to be created. What people were thinking it was a great innovation. But then nowadays we have the fear that a government can use it. So we have the fear to use something we created. That's the point I want to mark to your question. That's what I think. We have to stop to be afraid, but at the same time we have to stop to be afraid of that as we are. We have to know. So the balance and what I think about your question is definitely this. I need to know, and to need to know, I needed the digitalization of the school. Gabriela, you have to speak.
Yeah.
To be very direct, do you use these technologies when you take an assessment? Should you be able to have ChatGPT?
Oh well, I'm a nerd, so no.
No, I
You're
think you
talking
definitely
to a
shouldn't
nerd.
because it will lose the meaning. But yeah, so I'll say I totally agree with what Sania said. But on the other end, I can see a way where it's not the AI that is that is like on like it's like it control me, but I see a world when we have the AI in our end and we control it, and so we don't need to be scared about it. So I see more of a human interaction. If we lose the human interaction, I think it's not going to be. I don't see a great future if we lose the track and if it gets out of our ends. So yeah.
And then, as we said before, we use it, for example, for images. So we use it because we like it. It's something, I mean, I'm so curious. When you use ChatGPT, there was my classmates yesterday, we had a test. And this classmate was doing all the tests alone with ChatGPT. And when I saw it, I was wow, it wrote all alone. But at the same time, it was and how much my work is important. How much all the work I'm doing, writing this test is important if that test will be perfect, because they don't do it. So the balance is this. We are afraid because we don't know how to use it, as always. So as Gabriele was saying, the main point is don't lose our being human, because it's what always makes us the difference between animals. Our humanity is what makes us better in front of other animals. So we can't lose it. And we can't lose ourselves in front of what we create. As, of course, to not be just product, but definitely consumers. So that's the point I would like to answer to your question.
Guys, we're getting there. Questions about assessment is another conference. It's a big one. Because honestly, I mean, assessment is one of the things that should totally radically change, obviously. But we all know this. And thank you so much. And I mean, I can see the quality of the Italian school system. These are the average students, as you can see. Well, I wish. I mean, no. Thank you so much. And okay, now we go to the closing of the session. And please, you can